least 52 people, according to the Gazan rescue teams. The dead include 33 people, mostly children, in a school-turned-shelter in Gaza City. The Israeli military claimed the site was being used by Hamas and Islamic Jihad for command operations. Here's what one of the witnesses of the strike has said.
في الخيمة وفجأة سمعنا الانفجار ما لقينا حالنا إن احنا مرميين الخيمة كلها أطفال وكلها نسوان حوامل والوضع كان صعب واحنا كنا نايمين يعني ما حضروش والشهداء دبوا المكان وصرنا في منطقة رعب يعني لمتى بدنا نضلنا زي هيك احنا في هذا الوضع.
Another 19 people have died in a strike on a home in Jabalia, including women and children, according to local reports. Israel has expanded its offensive across Gaza, hitting over 200 targets in just 48 hours. The military cited weapons, caches, tunnels and militant positions among its targets. World leaders are meeting in Spain and called the war in Gaza inhumane, demanding a halt to it. Spain also called for an arms embargo on Israel and unrestricted humanitarian aid access. Let's listen in to the Spanish Foreign Affairs Minister.
En primer lugar, si la guerra no para, el acuerdo de asociación entre la Unión Europea e Israel, que se fundamenta en su artículo 2 y por lo tanto en el respeto de los derechos humanos, tiene que ser suspendido inmediatamente. Todos tenemos que poner en marcha un embargo de armas. No puede haber.
Meanwhile, aid groups say supplies are still too limited, fueling hunger and unrest across Gaza. The overall war toll in Gaza now nears 54,000, mostly civilians, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. The conflict began with Hamas's October 2023 attack on Israel, which killed over 1,200 people. 57 hostages taken that day remain in Gaza, 34 of who are presumed to be dead. On the diplomatic front, Israel's foreign minister praised President Trump's support during a visit by US Homeland Security Chief Kristi Noem. Meanwhile, the Palestinian delegation won symbolic flag rights at the WHO despite Israeli opposition. And in Gaza, Humanitarian Foundation Chief Jake Wood has resigned. Wood said he was proud of efforts to feed Gaza's hungry, but couldn't ignore humanitarian principles. The foundation says it will still deliver aid this week, aiming to feed over 1 million people. Well, all of these developments, of course, in recent hours. Joining us to discuss them is Lev Aaron, a senior journalist who is joining us from Israel. Lev, of course, further reports of death in Gaza. We know that the military action from Israel is intensifying. We know that Benjamin Netanyahu says he wants to take full control of Gaza. But we've heard there from the Spanish foreign minister, and there has been diplomatic talk around the current state of play in Gaza. Do you think that pressure will have any impact on Benjamin Netanyahu's plan of action with Gaza?
First of all, thank you for having me. There is no doubt that it was far easier for Israel to explain the war domestically and in the international arena at the beginning of the war. And now when we see the pictures from Gaza, it is much harder. And Israel is facing a hostile political class in Europe, Spain, Britain, France, and so on. So there is a pressure on Israel, but at least at this stage, Donald Trump is supporting Israel. On the other hand, we need to remember that doublespeak is part of the political culture in the Middle East. Also, the moderate Sunni countries tell Israel, of course secretly, until Hamas is not defeated, we will not be able to bring a new regime in Gaza. As long as the local people are afraid of Hamas, any plan that we will bring, it will be a failure. So in this sense, Netanyahu feels right now that defeating Hamas is the only solution, even if it is unpopular in Europe and also among some chunks in the domestic arena in Israel.
Yes, Lev, I want to look at hostages, of course, a key point in this ongoing conflict, a devastating fact for so many in Israel. Over 50 hostages dead and alive still being held. Since the resumption of military action by Israel in the enclave, we've only seen one hostage released, and that was the US-Israeli hostage. Do you think that Benjamin Netanyahu's operation and planned offensive in Gaza has had any positive impact on the hostage release, or could there be a possibility that this is endangering the lives of hostages if the offensive continues?
First of all, this is what Netanyahu says. Once Hamas feels it is at risk, it will give me a good deal and it will release the hostages. Otherwise, Hamas will give one American hostage, maybe another one, but it will not give all of them. So in this sense, this is like the paradigm of Netanyahu, that only a military solution will make Hamas more flexible. But of course, large chunks of Israelis, mainly in the center left, believe that Netanyahu doesn't care about the hostages, and he knows that they will be killed by Hamas.
Lev, Aaron, on screen currently we are showing a graphic which is talking through the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. One of their senior members of staff their chief in fact, has resigned and quit just ahead of aid being sent into the enclave, saying that the humanitarian aspect of it is not being followed and that neutrality isn't a key figure within this aid distribution. Is there any responsibility on Israel at this point to assist the aid transfer given the clear situation of humanitarian crises in Gaza?
As far as most Israelis are concerned, many of the people who come to help Gaza support Hamas. And many of them do not believe that Israel even has the right to exist. So when one bigwig in an NGO is leaving, I don't see, we'll see many tears in the Israeli domestic political arena, even not among the opposition. So this is one. The second thing is that at least this government believes that since we are fighting Hamas, the very fact that we as Israelis, we allow food, fuel, etc., get into Gaza, this is like a big present. And the international community should not scold us, because usually when you fight an enemy, you don't give them the things that eventually go to jihadist Hamas. So although this guy has quitted, I don't think you will see many tears in Israel at this point.
Yes, absolutely. And Lev, of course, that is a big fear with this aid that is now entering into the enclave, is that, of course, it will fall into the hands of Hamas. Let's look forward now, Lev, because talks around a ceasefire, talks around an end to the fighting seem to have stalled in recent days and weeks. Do you think there is any world in which a ceasefire could be agreed, or is this just a journey and a route now towards Israeli occupation of Gaza?
Without the surrender of Hamas in this war, Netanyahu's government will collapse. Because part of the MPs in Netanyahu's government, they have no reason to be part of his government if there is some kind of a ceasefire or a peace with the Capri solution is Donald Trump, because Netanyahu could easily walk over the red lines of Biden, but Netanyahu will have to comply and to be obedient to the red lines of Donald Trump. But right now, Donald Trump does not push Israel, so we don't see any red lines. So right now, I don't see a scenario of this war ending without Trump's intervention.
Aaron, we do have some breaking news that